Insiders. How are you doing? So here we are in Queensland, at least, if that's where you are, on the day before the world starts to open up again. And I just wonder how you're feeling about that. I think what is going to come up is a lot of frustration in, not really understanding what's open and what's not open and what should be open. And, I'm actually going to take a trip to Ravenshoe on the weekend to see my grandchildren. And we would like to take them to a cafe, but when I rang the cafe, they said no, they weren't sure they were going to open because that might not be possible, just given the size of the cafe and the distance and how far apart people will need to be, and etc. etc. So I'm thinking that I won't be the only one who's being a little frustrated by all of that going on. So maybe we could do some tapping today on the frustration of, not quite knowing what's going to happen, even though it's going to be frustrating. New things are opening up, or old things are opening up in a new way, perhaps. And I'm not quite sure whether to take the risk or not. Actually, interesting, I've booked an appointment with my waxing person, and I got this morning a form that I had to sign, a waiver for any responsibility if I catch COVID from going to that place. So, even though there's so much frustration and quite a bit of fear in this whole opening up phase, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though there's frustration and fear, I deeply and completely accept myself. And the crown. All this frustration and fear, and whatever it is for you, all this frustration and fear, 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 all this frustration and fear. Big breath, see how it's feeling. And what else? What else is coming up for you? So maybe put in the chat what is coming up for you that might be bothering you about this whole new phase that we're moving into. I think, interesting comment. I used to live in the Territory, so I get a chuckle out of seeing the comment on the NT News, and the comment this morning was something like, it was quite cheeky towards the southern states anyway, whatever it is. I can't remember the exact wording, but they're very blunt. Oh, hi, Crystal. Yeah, some uncertainty. Yeah, absolutely. We'll do some on that in a minute. So the NT News, they haven't had many cases, and so they're opening up, and there's no restrictions on the numbers and so on. So they're going to have a beer in the pub. So the differences between the states and the borders still being closed and all of those things are going to be difficult. So let's do some tapping on that uncertainty. Even though there is so much uncertainty about all sorts of things, I deeply and completely accept myself. When I focus in on the uncertainty and the fear that it takes me into, I deeply and completely accept myself, even though it can overwhelm me. Crystal's saying, I'm very unsure about school openings or whether or not to send little one back and if it's worth risking or not. Yeah, that's a big one. Let's include that. Yeah, even though there's so much concern about sending children to school, I deeply and completely accept myself. We know we can't stay locked down forever, and yet the risk involved in sending my child to school, who knows what it is? All I can do is make the best decision from my gut reaction. And I can only do that with certainty when I'm in alignment with my higher self. I certainly cannot make those decisions from a place of fear. I can only make those decisions from a place of alignment. So I'm going to put everything else aside and get into alignment with my higher self. And from that place of alignment, the next logical step will come to me. And I'll know with certainty whether it's safe or not. And I'll trust my gut feeling, because my gut feeling is my guidance. My gut feeling is my higher self guiding me. And that's the best guidance there is. But I have to first get out of the fear and into alignment. And from that place of alignment, I will know what the right decision is. And the thing is, no one else can really tell you what the right decision is about that. I can't tell you what the right decision about that is. I'm not even sure what I would do myself in that situation. We know kids need socialization. We know they need that interaction with others, but it's a scary prospect. And so the only thing to do in that kind of situation is get yourself, first of all, tap and clear the fear, whatever that is, and be really clear with yourself what the fear is. Maybe it's terror. Maybe it's terror of the child getting sick or something like that. And so tap and clear that and get into alignment. Maybe off the topic. If you can't get into alignment on the topic, then it's always good to get off the topic. So get into alignment, go for a walk on the beach, do a meditation, have a sleep, um, whatever it takes to get into alignment. And then from that point of alignment, you've asked the question. In that place where you're not feeling good, you're asking the question, and then you get into alignment with your higher self, and the next logical step will become apparent to you, and you'll know for sure what the right decision is. The problem with us is, as humans, we try to make decisions from a place of fear, and that's where we get all entangled. Can't make a decision with You can't make a decision with clarity. You can't make a good decision from a place of fear. So, got to get out of the fear first. Tap and clear, get into alignment, then the decision. Okay, have a great day and a great weekend, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.